Hey everybody, Chef B here. Today we're going to be doing a pecan pie. So this is another type of custard pie. Obviously it's going to be set with eggs. So we have our pecans here, our eggs. We have light and dark corn syrup here. We're going to have a little bit of flour just to kind of help, that little additional starch will help set it. A little bit of melted butter to give it a little fat and richness. Of course a little bit of salt and sugar. Not that you need any more with corn syrup, but that's in this particular recipe, and then of course vanilla. So basically what we're going to start with here, we're going to move this out of the way here. Okay, now what I like to do is start with my eggs. So once again, you want to crack them on something flat, right? Because you don't want to introduce any bacteria inside if you crack it on the edge. All right, so I like to start with my eggs first. I like to get those whisked up pretty good. Okay, and then what I like to do is add my flour, because your flour, it's gonna mix in here a lot smoother if you incorporate it with a fat as opposed to a liquid. So if you're gonna, mix flour with water or a milk or a dairy product or something like that, it tends to clump. But if you mix it in with a fat, it actually doesn't clump, and it breaks up and dissolves. So once that gets moist, it'll smooth out. All right, so now we're gonna add our salt and our sugar. We're gonna add our vanilla. Okay, we're gonna stir those around. Now we're gonna add our corn syrup here. Get our spatula, make sure we get it all. All right, and then you wanna make sure it's incorporated pretty well. It might take a second. You want to stir this pretty good because you're introducing that fat with that corn syrup, and it tends to not like to be in that environment. So we're going to stir him pretty good. Probably would have helped with a bigger bowl. So you notice there are little lumps of flour in there, but the good thing about those is they'll dissolve once the eggs start to cook. They'll dissolve in and you won't have those lumps like you would in a liquid. All right, so that's looking pretty good. We're gonna add our melted butter. So you can see there's a really thick, really rich filling. All right, and then what we're gonna do, once again, we're gonna get our pie shell. So I have it on a sheet tray here, just a little tray, so it's a lot easier to maneuver it. And then you're gonna pour your pecans actually in the center. Okay, and then we're just gonna pour our filling on top. Now this might be a little more than we need because this recipe I did is for a 10-inch pie. So I have a little bit left over. We're gonna save that. And then once again, this one is a baked custard, so you wanna start at a very high temperature, like 400 degrees. I usually do it at 400 for about 10-15 minutes, and then we'll reduce it to 350, 325, and then you just cook it until it's set. And same thing, you just kind of shake it and make sure that it should be set up. All right? And that's it for the pumpkin or the pecan pie.